Anyway, Obadiah Stane. He just popped up on the screen for me as I'm looking at it right now.
You've
Obadiah
been waiting
Stane.
to talk about this fucking guy for like
he was like pounding his desk because he couldn't talk about it as we were watching it. So go ahead, Michael.
Literally, Michael was like, dude, I don't think, and we were just like, dude, like, save it. Like, what are you doing?
Obadiah Stane.
Okay.
I think he is a wasted character.
I agree with that. I think he had one really good fucking scene in this movie, like, and that was the scene with him and Tony, where, like, with the paralysis machine.
Yes.
But like as an actual fucking character,
that and the fucking who do you think kicked you off the board?
Yeah.
As an actual like character in the movie, though, I do think he falls a little bit flat, unfortunately. And
I think as a villain he falls flat, but the character itself is really cool.
And also, one of the tropes that like really annoys me, and they still do it to this day, is during the third act of a movie, or like even a show, it seems like they take the villain,
they rush,
and then turn them like comically evil.
Yes.
Like in this movie, like when he picked up that fucking car with the family and was basically about to kill them, it was like, why would he do that? Like nothing in the movie led to that. Like
he just turns crazy.
So I have theory on that, right? So like you got to keep in mind who they're playing to, right? So like yes, it's a PG-13 movie. Yes, it's Iron Man. Yes, it's adult actors. Yes, it's all this shit. But they are totally playing to kids. And so if there's one fucking like scene that makes a kid laugh hard enough, they'll fucking like they'll buy this movie, they'll watch it at home, and that kid will like love it. He'll talk about him picking up that car the entire time and the kid's screaming. Like, so I totally think like in some way there's probably, I don't think like fucking Favreau was like, oh yes, he must pick up the car. I think that like, that sells a good toy, probably. Like it makes it look strong. It makes it does this thing, and like I think it is a comically evil thing. Like I do think it is like, you know, okay, why does he have to pick up the car? Why does Iron Man have to get run over by this fucking family in their Ford Fiesta? Like,
I think it does show though, like that villains do get more desperate as the movie goes on. I think it makes sense for him to get more crazy because he's more desperate to like get his way. I just don't like how he's just a mirror version of Iron Man. He's just Iron Man but bigger.
It just kind of gave me like, you know, like Hayward from fucking WandaVision. Like in the third act of the movie, he just tries to kill a kid. It's like, bro, like that's kind of the same vibe it gave me. I was like, bro, like why is he trying to kill this innocent fucking family? Like
I view
he's Jeff Bezos, dude.
Yeah, he's Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
Jeff Bezos would kill a kid. I'm saying that right now.
Yeah.
That's my first hot take of the podcast.
Jeff Bezos,
that's the first hot take. CEO of Amazon would kill a kid.
The podcast just turns into slandering Jeff Bezos.
No. I'm not saying he did kill a kid. I'm saying he would.
I think that when you watch this podcast though, or not this podcast, this movie though, there's this. It is like Obadiah is a great character, and it is something that like he is wasted because you know you watch this and immediately you get these fucking, we kept saying it like how in our first watch, because I think we all watched, so we all remember our first watch of this movie, or at least parts of it. We all were like, man, how could you not tell he was the villain, you know, and stuff like that. And they do hide it well, you know, they make him a friendly person, they make him whatever, but they also make him very clearly like, okay, well, he's got to sell weapons, he's got to sell this, he's worried about the business. That doesn't inherently make him a bad guy, it just makes him, you know, complicit in bad things. And so in the case of like, you know, the billionaire looking after his business, that makes sense. So it brings up red flags on his morality, but not on him being like literally ironmonger. And I think like watching this movie and seeing how his character is portrayed, you know, he goes from like friendly person to the reporter asks him at the party, hey, you know, what do you think about these fucking missiles? And then he's like, I didn't sign that. He's like, somebody at your company did. He goes outside, yada, 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 who did this? Okay, well, guess who removed you from the company? And from that moment, you're like, okay, he's a piece of shit, whatever. Then it's fucking figured out, oh my God, he's working with the 10 Rings. All they had to do, and this is like, maybe because it was the first Marvel movie, they wanted a death, right? Maybe it's because they wanted a death in the first Marvel movie. This is a Marvel movie with stakes.
People did die in this movie. Even the first half of it, they died. People
die in this movie. And so like for Obadiah Stane to die, I remember when Iron Man 2 came out, and we can talk about Iron Man 2 when we get there. But when that movie came out, I was like, man, this guy just doesn't have like the same energy as Obadiah. He doesn't have this.
It feels like the same villain again.
Well, I feel like what could have totally happened with his character, and like maybe they were trying to keep it relatively accurate to the comics. Maybe they were trying to do whatever, but like, why not keep him alive, have him be arrested or something, and then trying to start not a competing Iron Man like type of situation or whatever, but like Iron Man 2 could have been a different movie. Iron Man 3 could have been the exact same. Iron Man 2 could have been different. And I feel like Obadiah Stane would have been a great fucking like foil of that. A guy like Tony Stark was a guy who like rose to the top, realized he was doing bad, and then, okay, I'm going to change my ways and still be at the top. Obadiah Stane, on the other side, rises to the top by digging in his heels. He like doesn't care how far and how much shit he does. He doesn't give a fuck. He will do what he needs to do to get there, and he will not budge. He will fucking like plant his roots like a goddamn tree. He will not move. And if they would have did that in another movie with this character, people would more fondly, I think, remember Stane rather than like he could have been like a Loki type villain. Not like literally, but more so like from a I guess like Thor has Loki. Cap has, Hydra, and well, I mean, not no one, but he has moments of dealing
Cap
with
has
people.
like kind of Bucky. Like,
Bucky and Tony. Like,
kind of like a love to hate to love kind of thing.
Yes. But like past that, Tony doesn't have anybody but fucking Thanos for the entire MCU.
He doesn't even know he exists. He just knows that there's someone out there.
He just knows there's something
that spites him somewhere.
And for one more fucking movie, it could have been Stane.
I mean, Tony, Tony, in a way, I feel like he's just his own worst enemy.
He is, 100%.
Because, like, you watch, like, a lot of these fucking movies, and he creates his own fucking villains, bro. Like,
yeah.
Like, so many MCU villains are, like, just from Tony Stark. What like, like, Ultron. And
what was the bad guy in fucking 2? I don't remember
Justin
why
Hammer.
It was
Whiplash.
There was two bad guys in Iron Man 2.
Hammer and Whiplash.
Hammer and Whiplash.
And Whiplash hated Iron Man because I believe it was effects from the first movie as well.
But all they fucking had to do, even if all they had to do was fucking bring back Stane.
Mm-hmm.
And then
that is a problem with like a lot of Marvel movies. It's like they kill their villains, and I feel like if fucking, especially in the case of like, I don't know if you can really count Mysterio because it's too soon, but like,
yeah, it's too soon.
A lot of fucking like in a lot of these early movies, like they just straight up like kill the fucking villain, even though like I think a lot of them could stick around and be like cool recurring villains. Like, and like I do agree with you in the sense that like if fucking Jeff Bridges didn't fucking die, like he could have stuck around and been like, you know, like think about it like this. In Infinity War, like we saw the Red Skull again, and it was like the coolest shit ever.
It was fan service to like the highest degree.
Imagine if at some point they decide they're gonna do like a fucking Thunderbolts movie or something, like, and they bring in fucking what's his name, fucking Obadiah Stane, like, and it's like, holy shit, like
back from the dead.
Yeah.
It's just this weird thing because yeah, from what I remember hearing, there was a script where he apparently survived the like arc reactor blast, which there's no fucking way he survived that. Clearly.
Oh yeah, he literally fell into like a nuclear reactor.
Yeah, and then it literally shot up into the goddamn stratosphere. Like he would have been vaporized.
Wait, maybe he went to Vormir, like Red Skull.
Maybe went to the moon.
Yeah, maybe. No, it's just this weird ass thing where like I think if you watch that movie.
Sorry, can you just imagine if instead of Red Skull showing up, it's just fucking, it's just, and he's wearing the cloak.
But he's wearing the cloak in the Ironmonger outfit, so it covers up like
huge.
It's like a little itty bitty like cape. Like the cloak is really small. The cloak is the same size, but it's just covered up like the Ironmonger mask.
They could choose any villain to be up there, but they chose the Ironmonger.
Yeah.
What other dead villains are there that they could have used?
It's
what in Infinity War?
Yeah.
Mysterio, bro. Even though he died after.
Well, time works differently up there.
That's the thing.
Weird.
That's the thing. I don't think they kill off villains too hard in these movies. It's just a matter of they just don't use them. Like it's this fucking thing where like even if like they just have a knack of killing villains or people who don't deserve it. You know.
Well, did Justin Hammer die in Iron Man 2?
I don't think so.
Justin Hammer.
Where did he go?
Alive. He got arrested.
Exactly. Like that's where did he
He's
go?
In prison.
No, but
they wasted the opportunity to fucking use him. Like Justin Hammer's one of the best fucking characters in the whole universe, and like they have never reused them. Like
it's just this weird situation where like I feel like Obadiah Stane could have been a much better fucking villain than Justin Hammer because, you know, fucking Obadiah would have had the time and the fucking like knowledge of what was going on at Stark, yada yada yada, could have went in with that, and then they make a better second movie. Iron Man 2 is very forgettable.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll get there. We'll fucking get there.
It's just a very forgettable movie in comparison to Iron Man 1. There are so many story beats that you remember from Iron Man 1 because it is such a like just knowable movie. It's quotable. It's fucking there are scenes. There's like the fucking the Dutch angle scene with you know Stane and Tony, you know, sitting on the
this movie lacks a lot of like it lacks a lot of scenes that are meant to like connect to the MCU, because there is an MCU at this point. There's no like, I feel like in newer movies they have scenes or parts that are meant to like allude to other heroes, whereas this is just a simple plot from A to Z, with like each scene like it just carries a plot forward, and I think it's very like, it's a very direct movie.
It's a well, yeah, I don't, because I think they fucking just realized like, yeah, okay, if we reference Hulk halfway through this movie, that ain't gonna be very good.
They don't have the rights to him at that point. I'm like,
well,
they
but you
didn't
get
know
what
if
I'm
they have rights to him.
saying. Like, yeah, it's like that type of shit. Like, you couldn't say they're the kid in Queens. Yeah, exactly. You couldn't reference a kid in Queens. You couldn't reference some big fucking green guy. You couldn't reference, you know, all this shit. Like it's not like it's not like those other superhero movies that totally just are like, oh yeah, superheroes are all over the map type of thing. Like there's always that like video game or whatever that does that, and then it just always gives you this massive like, well, where the fuck are they then? Like,
you know, like during the final battle with fucking Obi, they should have had a scene where he's like, so you're a hero now, huh? And then Iron Man's like, yeah, and then fucking Obi's like, just like that kid in Queens with the spider powers. That would have been so sick, bro.
You mean when Spider-Man's like 6 years old?
Yeah,
that shit would have been sick, bro.
See, but
they should have done that.
And
just like that Miles Morales kid.
Like that's
You're like
also
that
the
guy
other,
trapped in ice from the 1940s.
like you know what though, like there you go. Like how fucked would that have been if they would have referenced like.
Yeah, it would have been pretty sus, I think.
Well, all they would have had to say is like, because I'm picturing just like a tongue in cheek.
Well, all they would have had to say is, so that's it, huh? I'm some kind of Hulk.
No.
Shit like that.